What's up guys, JJ here, and today we're going to talk about everything you need to know about water testing in your aquarium, so stay tuned. So guys, I had to make this video. For anybody who's been following the channel for a little while, you know that I do work at a pet store. I work with aquariums on the regular. I try to help people out as much as I can, and it's come to my attention that we need to know about water parameters and what testing our water should look like. And then even after that, what should we do once we know the numbers, right? Because people will bring me a water sample, I'll test it for them, and I'll be like, your nitrates are too high. And they go, So we're going to cover all those things, all right? And I do have a couple of problems with like test strips and which way to test, but we're going to talk about all of them, and hopefully everybody gets the information they need in this video. So probably the most affordable option is the test strip. So we get the, 6-in-1? Yeah. So there's a lot of companies that make the 6-in-1 test strip. I use Aquarium Co-op because every company's test strip does the job, but Aquarium Co-op puts like 200 in here, and it's a really good deal for a better price. All right, so, and what these test strips measure is what? Chlorine, your pH, your hardness, your nitrite, and your nitrate. And the thing that I don't like about these strips is two things, actually. One, nobody makes a test strip that puts ammonia on with everything else. They have to have like a separate strip for ammonia, and ammonia is one of the most important things you need to be looking for. And two, a lot of these parameters aren't super important for somebody who's starting out or trying to figure out how to keep their fish alive, right? So we're testing 6 things on here, but really there's only, I'd say 2 that are absolutely essential. So when you check your test strip, you've got to know your nitrite and your nitrate. If you have pretty much any amount of nitrite, it's time to change your water. If you have nitrates, it is okay. It just depends on how much you have, and we'll talk about that. I'll do a water test here in a minute. But for a beginning fish keeper, you don't need to keep up with your pH or your hardness. Most of your fish that you could buy at the pet store or the fish store are going to be okay, and however your water comes out of the tap, all you have to do is make sure it's dechlorinated. All right, so that's why I say you really only have to focus on nitrite and nitrate. Now, I wish there was ammonia, because new tanks almost always have ammonia, and it's one of the #1 killers of fish. So you do need to know if you have ammonia, but you can't test for it on a regular 6-in-1 test strip. So I'm going to test my water for you guys right here, and then I'm going to talk about what it all means, and then talk about what you might do with different water parameters. Oh, we hold it in there. And read the directions on yours, because they're not all the same. Some of them say shake it off. Some of them say don't shake it off. Some of them say wait a certain amount of time. Some of them say check the numbers right away. This one, I believe, is like a 1-minute wait. Yep. So I'm going to let this go, see what our numbers come up with, and 60 seconds. Be right back. Alright, it's been about 60 seconds, and let's take a look at the strip. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully you can. But we are right at about 25 nitrates, 0 nitrite, and then I have very hard water, and my pH comes out at about 7.8 usually, and no chlorine, of course. So what do those numbers mean? So if you're taking a water test for yourself, or you get the information, maybe you take your water in somewhere, don't worry so much about the hardness. Don't worry so much about the pH, because your fish are going to survive. Don't try to chase parameters and buy products to change your pH or your hardness. I think that is something that not enough people say, because the fish store wants to sell you this product, API wants to sell you this product, CChem wants to sell you another product. And the bottom line is, most of the time, your fish are okay, and the hardness and the pH that comes out of your tap. Now, regionally, there's some places where it's a little different. I know like the West Coast is surprisingly soft water from anybody I know out there. But for the most part, your water is going to be between 7 and 8 pH, and that's good. I've raised fish in the Midwest and in Florida on the well, so I've had mostly hard water. If you have soft water, cool, that's probably better for your fish anyway if they come from the Amazon. But anyways, I'm getting off track. So what you need to look for, do you have nitrites? If you have nitrites, change like half your water and boom, you're good to go. Do you have nitrates? Probably. Well, if your tank is cycled, that's a whole nother video about cycling your tank. Watch that one. I'll put a card at the end in the corner. All right. So, do you have nitrates? Okay. How many nitrates do you have? And some products will have like you have so many of this, it's time to change your water. And for me, this bottle says like 100 nitrates. You need to change your water. For me personally, I'd like to keep it below half that. So if I'm over like 40 or 50 nitrates, I'm usually changing the water. All right. So to recap that part, any nitrite, it's time to change your water. Nitrates are okay, high amount, and you kind of have to get familiar with this or whether you have plants because that changes it. But for me, if my nitrates are like 40 or 50, it's time for me to change the water. And now how much water do we want to change? That's another one that's totally up to you. I know a lot of people say change 20% of your water every week and everything will be, it's not exactly the same for everybody because everybody has different size tanks with different amounts of stocking. So let's say my nitrates are at 40% and I want them to be down in more like the 20 range because that's what I'm comfortable, that's what I feel like my fish are thriving in. Then change half your water. If your nitrates are at 25 and you're like, okay, I just want to change a little bit and get it down to 20, then you can change like 20% and you're just fine. So it all depends on the resources you have, the fish you have, and whether or not you have plants. But I think after a water change, a good area you want to be in is like 20 and below. If you're changing water and you're still at like 40, 50 nitrates, you either want to change more water or you want to do another water change very soon. Now, one thing we don't measure on the test strip is ammonia. Ammonia and nitrite are bad. So, if you find out you have ammonia, it's time for a water change, and that usually comes from either your tank is overstocked or it's a new tank and it hasn't built up beneficial bacteria. Again, I made a video all about cycling your tank and where your tank should be in terms of the big three, which are ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. Check that video out. I'll put that in the corner at the end. But you basically want 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite, and low nitrates. All right? So when you get the test results, if you're testing by yourself or if you go to the fish store and they tell you the numbers, and I know here's the thing, not every fish store person is an expert. You can go to Petco, you can go to PetSmart, and somebody will do that water test for you, and then they go, wow, your pH is this, and your hardness is this, and I assume that you probably should have it all near the middle or something. And they can't tell you exactly unless they actually keep fish and they know what they're doing. So the things you need to worry about are ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. You want 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite, and low nitrates. All right? So hopefully this helps. Let's talk about the other tests we can do. So that's test strips. My problem with test strips is they don't test for ammonia. You have to get a separate strip for that. So what you might want to do is get the big master test kit. For the money, it's probably a better deal. I don't know. Depends. Price-wise, if I was buying any other brand, I would say that buying this is a better deal because it still tests for nitrites, nitrate, pH, but you do get ammonia in here as well. And some people don't think it's very accurate, but dude, just get the number of drops right. But sorry. So this does come with ammonia, and it generally gives you a pretty good reading and a pretty accurate chart that you can go off of, that you can just match your tubes up. Now, I'm not going to do one of those tests today. All I want to say, guys, is what you need to be looking for, whether you're testing your water yourself or if you are getting your water tested somewhere, is you need to know the ammonia, the nitrite, and the nitrate. All right? Your pH and your hardness are not numbers that you typically would want to chase unless you already know what you're doing and maybe you're breeding, in which case you don't need this video anyway. Alright, so you want zero ammonia, zero nitrite, and low nitrates. So if you have any ammonia, any nitrite, it's time to change your water. If you've got high nitrates, more than like halfway up the scale probably, it's time to change your water again. So I hope this was a simple enough guide on what your water test means and what you have to do. Please don't chase extra parameters, just focus on the big three: ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. Alright, zero ammonia, zero nitrite, low nitrates, and your tank is going to be great and your fish are going to be happy and healthy. So if this video was helpful for you, please like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.